All right, Leni.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for taking your time. I know you're in high demand and you're very busy. Thank you so much for meeting with me. For those who don't know you, can you briefly go over your background, where you're from, and what did you want to be when you grew up?
Okay. Well, thank you for offering me this opportunity. Very grateful. My name is Leni Nicole St. Martin. 43 years old, female, born and raised in Schenectady. Growing up, what did I want to do? I always knew that I wanted to help people. And basically, I took a further education into nursing. And then that's pretty much about it.
So you're from like Capital Region?
Capital Region, yeah. Born and raised from Schenectady, New York.
So before we get into more specific questions, can you go over your timeline and how it led to your personal training business? Because I know you have a nursing degree, your master's, you're a bodybuilder,
Correct.
Competitor, and now I know you're also working on your PhD.
I am going for my PhD in kinesiology. So where do I begin? Growing up, I suffered with an eating disorder, anorexia nervosa. When I was 17, I was institutionalized in Four Winds. Shortly thereafter was my first attempt on suicide. That was when I was about 17. I did have two other later attempts of suicide, a little bit older. I knew growing up that I always liked the way muscle looked on females. I've always been an athlete my entire life, not so much with school sports, but things like martial arts, kickboxing, boxing, those types of things. So that led me into working out. For me, I guess you could say, in a sense, the gym saved my life, because it was a time when I would walk into the gym and any other stressors or things that bothered me, my mind would completely shut off, and it was just me and the weights. I can remember a time my mother telling me that the only time I looked happy or smiled was when I walked into a gym. So, for me, in a sense, it saved my life. So, from there, I grew the passion, and I knew I wanted to make a difference in other people's lives. So that led me down the road of becoming a personal trainer. I've been a trainer since 2006. And my goal with my business is basically to do the same, is to reach out to people and help change their lives. Not that the gym has to do the same for them as it did for me, but it's always a very good starting point for someone to work on themselves. And I always equate it to, do you ever have a rock hit the windshield of your car? It starts off small, but then when it do it, spider webs and it spreads. Well, when you start to work on yourself and have self-confidence within you, then other areas and aspects in your life start to become better for you. When you work on your self-confidence in the way that you see yourself, in the way when you're reaching goals that you thought you never could, when you looked at other people and said, if only I could, I wish I could never. Well, when someone says to you, yes, you can, and I'm here to give you the tools in your toolbox to help you learn so that you can do those things, there's nothing better like that. So with what I do, that's my ultimate goal with everyone.
So what was your journey of fitness? Like, because I know that you said the gym saved your life. So can you talk about that?
So for me, I'm a type A personality. I'm an all in or nothing per type of person. So with my journey, I started here at ABC years ago when I was 17, and I did the Apex program, and I excelled. And like I said, I always liked the way...
What's Apex?
Apex was a nutritional type system, almost where they did a trainer would do a nutritional program for you, and then you tracked all of your macros, your stats, those types of things. And I excelled at that. So from there, I said, you know what? I really like this. I really like the way muscle looks on women. I want to compete. So as I mentioned, I suffered with anorexia nervosa, but unfortunately, I never dealt with the issues at hand for that anorexia, eating disorders, whether it's bulimic, whether it's anorexia nervosa, overeating, really has nothing to do with the food. It has to do with other things in your life that are out of control that you can't control. So the one thing you can't control is the food you do or don't eat. I never dealt with those issues. What I did do was I educated myself. And for years, my education prevented me from going backwards, because what I wanted, which was to have more muscle, to step on stage, to get my pro card, to do those things. If I reverted back to what I was doing before, I would never reach those goals. So at that time, my goals outweighed me going back to my old ways, and my education. Whenever I had the feelings or any type of a trigger come up, my education prevented me from going back. And then again, on top of that, my goals also further prevented me from going backwards.
Can you like talk about your time in competing? Can you like
Sure.
tell us a little bit about that?
I did my first show in 2004, and I had trained for about 2 years. And I can remember telling my mother at one point in time that I wanted to be so big and have so much muscle that they wouldn't be able to tell if I was a man or a woman. And that actually came to fruition years later. But anyway, so just stepped on stage 2004 in Syracuse, and I won. I actually took the title of Miss New York State in 2004. And then
Miss New York State?
Miss New York State, yep. And then after that, about 2 weeks later, competed again. I won again overall. And then I said, I really want to pursue this even further. So I ended up moving to Syracuse and worked with a phenomenal coach who was a professional bodybuilder himself. And together we achieved that goal. And then I never stepped on a pro stage or did anything like that. I looked at myself at that time in 2006 and said, I'm really big. Do I want to be this masculine forever? And I didn't. So then I moved back home, and that's when I became a trainer at Best Fitness back in 2006. So
I remember seeing you at Best Fitness
Yes.
back in the day.
Yep.
Just for my own clarification, so you basically went from being super skinny to super muscular, or was it
Correct.
in your body transformation?
Yes, I was 109 pounds soaking wet, so I could physically take my thumb and my fingers and I could put it around and touch around my waist. And I was discharged from 4 Winds at 110 pounds. And then I found fitness, and it took me 20 years, but I went from 109 pounds to 210 pounds. I was 109 pounds at 15% body fat. I topped out at 215 at 14% body fat. So 100 plus pounds of lean muscle over a 20-year span. That's consistency in the gym. That's consistency and dedication and sacrifice with nutrition. That's doing the cardio. That's going to the gym when I didn't want to. That's sacrificing going out with friends. That's eating my food, never missing a meal, making sure I got my sleep, making sure my hydration was where it needed to be for 20 plus years.
So you know what you're talking about.
I do.
Because you've done it.
I've lived it, correct.
What does a typical day look like for you? When you get up, when do you get up? When do you come to work?
Sure.
How do you, if you're a trainer, when do you work out yourself?
So my days start very early. My first client is typically 4 a.m. So I'm up around 3. So I wake up. First thing I do is take care of I have 2 dogs, 2 King Charles. I take care of Tyson and Tucker. And then I'll take my multivitamins and those types of things. And my first meal for time-wise is typically a shake with some oatmeal and peanut butter. And I get all of my food ready the night before. I measure everything. I still live that structured style. Bring my meals to work with me. And then my first client's typically at 4. And I usually work from 4 anywhere from 11:30 to 12. And I love those hours. So then my workouts will be after that. And I hold myself to a strict 4 to 5 days a week. And I'll do cardio as well.
Before you train someone, you go pretty deep into their mental health. I know this from firsthand experience working with me and Brandon. Why is it so important for you to understand a person's relationship with food and exercise before you start training with them? And how has your education helped you?
It's very important to understand, for me to understand, but more importantly for my potential client and or my clients to understand their relationship with food. When someone comes to me and they're heavy, they're overweight, they know that they're heavy and they're overweight. Their family members or friends have made them look kind of like the elephant in the room. They don't really want to talk about it. Well, when they come in front of me, I'm very bold and I ask them, why did they get here? And typically they'll say, I don't know. And then I look at them and I say, but you do know, and you need to tell me why, what is behind it, because we all eat for different reasons. And typically when someone is overeating and or lack of eating, it's because there's something emotional going on. So I try to get people to briefly tap into that. And then I try to teach them about trigger points, because when something triggers that, they're going to go to what they know, which is the food. Well, they're coming to me to help them change that. 99.9% of the population aren't successful in their weight loss journey because they're not dealing with what's going on behind the scenes, i.e. mentally and emotionally, and dealing with that. Because for a long time, myself included, for years, we try to push those things away. We don't want to. And we find other alternative ways to not have to feel or think or do, whether it's food, whether it's drugs, whether it's sex or gambling. So those types of things. And for me, I see mostly with food. So I make it a point to talk to them, explain where I'm coming from as far as my unhealthy relationship with food in the past. And I like to let people know that you can be successful. Yes, it is scary, but you have to put that time and that work in. And once I realize and I have them come to some realizations, together we work out, we figure out what their trigger points are, and I give them a better option. So that at least they're aware. You can't change anything that you're not aware of. So once they become aware of that, and then they start seeing that they are making these changes, and now they're starting to see this weight loss, it further encourages them to keep going. But it also makes them feel pretty good about themselves, because for years they always put the limitations on themselves that I can't, I don't know how, I don't want to. But really what they were saying was, I'm afraid, I'm scared, I need help, but I don't want to deal with the things that are keeping me where I am.
What's it like when you see people succeed and change?
There's nothing better in the world when someone comes up to you and says, thank you so much, you've changed my life. You know, the whole reason that I'm in this industry is to change people's lives. It's not about counting to 10. Anybody can go up 5 or 10 pounds on a leg press or bench press or those types of things. It's about working with people who don't like themselves, don't love themselves, that came in with their shoulders down, head down, feeling defeated, feeling depressed, feeling that they can't succeed in anything. And when you can help them turn that around, and it all started with them working on themselves, and then when they tell you things in their life are looking better, they're seeing life through different glasses now. They're attracted to a different type of person. A different type of person is attracted to them because they're more self-confident. They're walking taller. They feel great. They look good. It's just it's amazing because it all started with them, and it will always start and end with you.
That is good. That we could end the interview right there. Mm-hmm. As someone myself who has struggled with an eating disorder when I was in high school, what is something that helped you change? How have you been able to change your mindset?
Education. For me, it was a big part of my education and learning and knowing food. How does it work? How is it going to help my body? What is it going to do if I don't? And also time vested. You know, I have a lot of time in the industry. I have a lot of time training. I have over 20 plus years in the industry training people, also training myself, time vested. So all of that would go for naught if I all of a sudden went backwards. But in my beginning stages, it was my passion and my drive for what I wanted to go after. My goal was bigger than my fear. A lot of things with people, I try to tell people is your goal needs to be, you must want your goal more than you fear it and or other things.
Your goal must be bigger than your fear.
Fear has two meanings: face everything and run, or face everything and rise. You know, and for a lot of times, a lot of people, myself included, I ran for a lot of years, but it didn't get me anywhere. And at the age of 43, if I had just done things better or dealt with some of my issues, I would be much further ahead than where I am now. But I have no regrets because I wouldn't be the person I am today. And that's what I always try to tell people. I always make a reference of, kind of like don't be me, meaning I want more better for my clients. I want more better for them in the sense of it's going to hurt. It's going to be painful, but deal with it, because you can't get past that fire until you go through it. And once you go through that fire, your life exponentially is going to just get so much better and so much greater. The fear of the unknown, as the saying goes, I'd rather dance with the devil I know than the devil I don't know. That is real for some people. They don't care. They want to stay here because they're so afraid, or they've worked so hard to close this chapter. To reopen that chapter brings a lot of pain, a lot of wounds that they've worked so hard for. But what they don't understand is they want that so bad, but they just don't know how to get there. And when you can be a part of people's lives and show them that, hey, let's just start here. Let's leave this alone for right now. But when you start here, guess what? It's easier to deal with this over here sometimes. And just people's lives can truly, truly, truly turn around.
Yeah. As someone who's overcome so much in her life, what advice do you have for someone struggling right now to overcome an obstacle? Maybe it's not a physical struggle. Maybe it's something else. Like, what advice would you give them?
The first thing that's kind of cliche is never give up. No matter what you're going through, whether it's mental, whether it's physical, whether it's a very traumatic incident, no matter what it is, don't give up on yourself, because you are worth it. This may sound a little cliche as well, but I believe in God immensely. I would not be where I am today if I didn't pray, if I didn't turn to God, if I didn't give my cares and worries to Him. He has changed my life rapidly. And I pray every morning that I can make a difference in someone's life. And this sounds a little funny to some people, but in an instant, take some of that worry off of yourself and try to help someone else and let God do the work. That's what I did a long time ago, and it works for me. It's one of the reasons I'm so successful in life, and I don't measure success by monetary values, those types of things. I measure success in my ability to, no matter what I'm going through, to have the stability and also to reach out, especially in that time, to help other people. So if you're going through something, know that it's going to be okay, that you can do it. Don't give up. And when you need help, ask for it. And don't be afraid. Fear will hold you back. But if you go through and deal with some of the things you have going on, scary as it may be, in the end, when you're done with it, you're going to look back and be so glad that you did.
Yeah, don't go through it alone.
Right. You don't have to go through it alone.
Can you talk about your website slogan? I know you have
Yes.
you have like a quote or something.
I do.
Can
Can I pull it up on my phone?
Yeah.
Because I don't have it memorized.
Yeah.
I am working on a website, because I currently don't have a website up yet. And I do have a motto. It's going to be Christian-based, because like I said, I believe in God, and I'm very strong with that. A lot of my success comes from my prayers and me asking God to send the right people to me, people that I can help make a difference in those types of things. So when I found this quote, I said, this truly states everything that I am trying to put out into the world, and this is it. It says, I declare that I will live as a healer. I am sensitive to the needs of those around me. I will lift the fallen, restore the broken, and encourage the discouraged. I am full of compassion and kindness. I won't just look for a miracle. I will become someone's miracle by showing God's love and mercy everywhere I go. This is my declaration. And that truly is why I do what I do. And it's why I'm so successful. This is me. I don't need social media to be successful. I don't need a fancy web page. I don't need likes on my Instagram or likes on Facebook. I just need to have a kind, caring heart. And I need to let that show through. And that is why I've been so successful.
I believe that. So, in the season of resolutions, what are some practical tips that you can give someone that wants to make that physical change in their body?
Okay. So the first thing is, let's look at nutrition. You don't need to eat as structured as, say, a competitive bodybuilder or some other people that you may know in the gym or those types of things. You just need to, everything in moderation. So if you eat a lot of sugar, cut it in half. If you're drinking a lot of soda, cut that in half. Small baby steps. Anything less than what you did the day before is progress. So you want to take small baby steps, because it's the small steps that eventually over time, when you look back, are going to take you from where you are to where you need to be. If you look at it in a grand scheme of things and in a big broad scheme, you're going to become overwhelmed and you're going to have a defeatist attitude. So the best thing to do is make a big deal of the small accomplishments, because when you do that, the big accomplishments are coming. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And just stay consistent. If you fall down, it's okay. We all do. Get yourself up, brush it back off. Tomorrow's a new day. And it's just look at what you're eating and where can you make some better adjustments? Where can you cut some of the things out? If it's a lot of sugar, cut back on the sugar. So if you eat candy every day, eat candy 6 days a week instead of 7. If you drink 3 glasses of soda a day, go down to 2 glasses of soda a day, and then slowly reiterate that. If you don't eat vegetables, put some vegetables in one meal. Those type. Any type of positive change is a step in a change in the right direction. Everybody feels they need to make these huge, big, exacerbated efforts, and you really don't. You need to make small baby steps and be consistent with those small baby steps, because it's those small baby steps that are going to get you where you need to be. It's the small things that make up the big picture.
That's really good advice. what about somebody who's like hasn't stepped foot into the gym for 10 years? Like, what are some, maybe one or two things that they could do besides like running on the treadmill or doing bicep curls?
Okay.
What should people, I guess they're walking to a gym, they're feeling nervous, but congratulations, they made it.
Absolutely.
What should they do?
So honestly, I actually would say if it's been a long time since you've been into the gym, you don't really know your way around and you're a little intimidated by it, which I can completely understand, I'm going to say start with cardio. And the reason I say that is get moving. So start with your comfortability level. The fact that a person who is intimidated, who is embarrassed, who thinks everybody's going to look at them. This is going to sound kind of funny, but I'm dead serious. Trust me, these people aren't looking at you. They're so busy taking selfies and can't looking at themselves, they won't even notice you. But anyway,
I think that's true.
It's very true.
I think when you go to the gym, like you are kind of focused on yourself. You can't see other people around you because
it's so true.
And I think that's an insecurity that everybody has when they go to the gym.
The reason people think that people are looking at them is because they feel about themselves that way. So they're projecting onto other people what they're thinking or feeling about themselves. So my advice is be courageous and step through that front door and be gentle with yourself. Be forgiving with yourself. A lot of people, we're very hard on ourselves. We're not forgiving whatsoever. So you need to be proud that, guess what, you made it to the gym because you know how many people want to be you that didn't make it to the gym but are sitting at home wishing they had the courage to. So number one, be proud. Congratulations because you're courageous. Number two, come in and do something that you're comfortable with. Again, baby steps. Go on the treadmill. I don't care if you're here 10 minutes. Guess what? You weren't here yesterday 10 minutes. And then come to the next day. If you only stayed 10 minutes, guess what? Now you're 2 days in and you weren't 2 days ago. Or 4 days ago, excuse me. And then if you increase time and doing that and making it become routine, guess what? You're going to start to see weight loss. You're going to start to see things differently. You're going to be confident enough. You're going to be proud enough and be of yourself to go and maybe venture into something else, or maybe even ask someone for help. How do I do this? Those types of things. But just get moving.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned before, I know you don't like to brag, but you are doing so well. You are very successful in your personal training business. So in a world where social media is so prevalent, how have you been able to build your business with like virtually no social media, no Instagram or Facebook page? Essentially your business is pretty much 100% word of mouth. How?
Because I've gone against the norm of society, because I don't believe that I need an Instagram or a Facebook. I need to be real with people. I need to be present. I need to, when I see them, greet them with a smile. I always say this, that I will be the face of ABC. So if a member comes, whether it's asking me where the bathroom is or asking me where the water fountain is, I'm going to not only smile, I'm going to show them. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to go up to them. I'm going to show them that I care. I'm successful because I care, because it emulates. People can see that I'm successful because I will take the time out and help someone, and I'm not worried about how much it's costing or are they going to pay me. I'm not trying to get them as a client. I truly, honestly, wholeheartedly care. And in today's world where everybody's so busy with social media and how many likes can I get, and who unfriended me, and let me post this picture about myself, let me post that picture about myself. What they're forgetting is the basics, is simple humanity. It's simply being there with people. It's simply talking to them. It's showing them that you care. It's putting your phone down and not being on social media when they're trying to have a conversation with you. It's doing something for someone and truly 100% not wanting anything out of them other than for them to be happy, healthy, successful, and that I will always be there when you have a question. And that's why I'm successful. Truly, wholeheartedly believe that.
Yeah, I believe that too. At the end of every interview, I always ask the same question. What do you typically do for lunch?
Typically for lunch, what I do is I love sushi, but typically I'm here for lunch. So I will bring steak, brown rice, and usually a salad and some vegetables.
So you just reheat leftovers?
Yeah, I do reheat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So where can people find you, or how can people contact you if they want to, talk to you?
Sure, absolutely.
Consult with you.
So I'm a personal trainer out of ABC in Latham. So they can contact my personal cell phone at 227-6665, or they can reach me on email lsfitness101@gmail.com.
And what is your website going to be called when it's done?
LS Fitness. And I'm working on that as we speak, working on my logo and those types of things. And I'm going to, the reason that I now feel the need to actually do that is because as I said, I'm going for my PhD in kinesiology. So I'm looking to reach out to Division I schools and speaking with their coaches as to why maybe their athletes aren't performing on the collegiate level like they were when they were scouted as a junior in high school. And in order for me to do that, I do need a way for them to be able to contact me.
When do you think you'll have your PhD?
A year and a half.
That is aggressive.
Yes. Well, I'm going to go straight through the summer. So a year and a half. And then my dissertation, I've already started working on that as well. So hopefully within 2 years, a full-fledged PhD.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. And good luck with your PhD. That sounds so hard.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
so much.
That was personal trainer and bodybuilder Leni St. Martin. Visit our show notes at workinglunchpod.com for links, photos, and the video of our interview. Follow us on Instagram at workinglunchpod, and if there's someone who you would like to be featured as a guest, send us a DM or an email at workinglunchpod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for listening to Working Lunch, and thank you also for subscribing. We really appreciate your love and support. And remember, your biggest strength is who you are.